Elite Facts presents 10 saddest last words from pilots about to crash.
10.
Back in 2001, Vladivostok 352 took off from Yekaterinburg and would never reach its destination. During the approach into landing, the pilot lost control of the plane. The 136 passengers and all crew on board were killed. The problem came when the landing gear was lowered, but the plane was banking at the time, meaning the craft was at a 45-degree angle, with the nose dropping downward. To try and rectify this, the co-pilot pulled up violently, and the plane stalled in a second. The plane was too close to the ground to be able to change anything, and the pilot was last heard saying, "That's all, guys. Fuck."
9.
Surinam Airways 764 took off from Amsterdam Airport and was destined for Suriname in 1989. And it was the approach that once again caused the incident this time. Of the 187 on board, 176 were killed in the crash. The crash was investigated, and it was found that the crew were incredibly uneducated on aviation and had little or no training for handling such an aircraft, none meeting international standards of flight. The pilot attempted to land despite being given warnings not to and ignoring the alarms. The pilot's last words were, "That's it. I'm dead."
8.
In September 1978, the Pacific Southwest 182 flight was heading for San Diego when tragedy struck. It killed all 128 passengers on board. The cause of the incident was a mid-air collision between the 727 and a private Cessna flight. 144 people died in total. Their paths crossed unexpectedly when the Cessna's flight path was momentarily lost. As the plane began descending over San Diego, the people below could see its flame-covered hull from the ground. The cockpit radioed in one last time. "We're hit, it's bad. This is it, baby. Ma, I love you."
7.
The Air Canada 621 was travelling from Montreal to LA in 1970 when human error caused an incident that killed 109 people on board. The McDonnell Douglas DC-863 was coming into land at Ontario when it happened. The captain had ignored the airline safety protocol by failing to arm the ground spoilers. These are small caps on the plane wings that will reduce airflow as the plane comes to land. They decided to arm these flaps when on the ground. As the mistake was noticed, the co-pilot's last words were, "Heat, sorry," and then silence.
6.
Air New Zealand 901 crashed into Mount Erebus, ending the lives of all 237 passengers and 20 crew on board. It was another case of human error that caused the collision, and the pilot knew it, remarking, "Actually, these conditions don't look very good at all, do they?" as the plane went into the mountain. This crash was the catalyst for the Royal Commission of Inquiry into Aircraft Catastrophes.
5.
Lot Polish Airline 5055 crashed in Warsaw in 1987. It was destined for New York at the time. It was the destruction of the engine shaft that caused the incident, and it was due to faulty bearings in the plane that caused this. Every passenger on board died, and the pilot knew the outcome as they went down, exclaiming, "Good night, goodbye, we perish."
4.
Tragedy struck in 1996 when 7-year-old Jessica Dubroff was training to become a pilot. She had a dream to be the youngest person to fly across the US in a light aircraft. In April, her father and flight instructor had taken her out on a lesson in a small Cessna engine. They had vastly underestimated the conditions at the time, and they got the better of the aircraft. Strong gusty winds blew the engine shortly after taking off, and the plane went down, killing all 3 of them instantly. At the time, Jess had been on the phone to her mom, asking her, "Do you hear the rain?"
3,
In 2014, AirAsia was flying from Indonesia to Singapore and became another victim of bad weather. The crash killed all 7 crew and 155 passengers. In a morbid aftermath, the bodies of the dead were seen floating in the sea alongside lots of debris. It was a faulty rudder travel limiter unit that had caused the incident. It forced the plane into a 100-degree roll as the pilots tried to solve the issue using different tactics. As the plane went down, the black box relayed the pilots shouting "Allahu Akbar," which is Arabic for God is greatest.
2,
The only incident of terrorism on this list happened in 1964, when this man, Francisco Paula Gonzalez, told passengers he was going to commit suicide. Mid-flight, he got up from his seat and he shot both the pilot and co-pilot before killing himself as promised. With nobody left to fly the plane, it went down in the California hills and killed all 44 people on board. The co-pilot was last on the radio and said, "Skipper's shot, we've been shot. I was trying to help." This happened before all modern security checks were in place and explains why he got a gun on board.
1,
In 2015, a TransAsia flight was recorded just 2 minutes after takeoff, ripping through the motorway and clipping a taxi. The crash killed 43 of 58 on board that day. The error happened when the engine flame out occurred, rendering it useless. In a moment of craziness, the pilot switched off the remaining engine instead of the burning one, and the plane went down. The captain had actually failed simulation training less than 12 months earlier, and it was because he had failed to rectify this exact situation. His last words were, "Wow, pulled back the wrong side throttle." Don't forget to like us and subscribe for more elite facts.